Welcome to Torquay, and what better backdrop could you have than the iconic Thatcher's Rock here on the south coast of England in what's known as the English Riviera. We'll be showing you around Torquay itself, both in the town and some of the places outside of that. So we're a little bit on the east of the town centre at the moment. Shortly we're going to take a walk to one of the many seaside locations you can visit if you come to Torquay, and we'll also be going to a very grand hotel where maybe we might have a little beverage or two to start our journey. And we're going to be showing you some fantastic, lovely places. We've picked beautiful weather, as you can see, and it's also known as one of the warmest climates in the country, in England, so you probably stand a chance of catching a nice day or two if you come down here. So let's start our journey, and we're heading off first of all to Meadford Beach.
Not sure I can quite decide.
Let's go and wait for us and we'll come back.
I'm going to be for it. What do you reckon? Not too bad, is it? Do they work?
Yeah.
They're alright?
Yeah.
Can you cut the label
Yeah,
off for
of
me,
course.
please? Brilliant. It's suddenly got sunny, and I'm like, I ain't got no sunglasses.
Card or cash?
No, card, please. Thank you.
£4, please.
Brilliant. Excellent.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm a proper holiday maker now.
Where have you come from?
Torquay.
Oh, where is it? There you go. Enjoy
Just
the
need a
rest of
stick
your
of
day.
rock now and I'll be sorted. Nice one, thank you. Well, there you go. If you're going to be a tourist, even though I live here, you kind of got to dress touristy. Anyway, welcome now to the heart of Torquay. We're actually down. Oh, sorry, I nearly got run over then by a wheelchair. If you're going to come to Torquay, you got to have the sunglasses, haven't you? On a sunny day like this. So here we are. This is Torquay seafront, and as you can see, the beach is just starting to get a little bit busy now. They like their beach art here. Can't quite see what that is. It looks like some sort of flag of some sort, but we're right down on the seafront. It's a bit blowy today, but it's a beautiful day, and hopefully we're going to have a few nice things to see as we come around here. I think because the weather's so nice, I'm going to steer clear of just walking up through the town centre today and stick to the nice bits by the sea and some really good things. It's interesting, when we saw that Hesketh hotel just now, and we saw the plaque dedicated to Charles Darwin, obviously because he lived there for a while. One thing you will find around Torquay quite a lot is plaques for Agatha Christie. She was the novelist who wrote things like Miss Marple and who was that Belgian detective Poirot. Yeah, that's the one. So you'll see loads of those around Torquay. In fact, actually you'd be lucky to find a place that doesn't have it. Let me just show you this place behind us. It's called Palm Court, and this is a place that was built a few years ago following a fire of what used to be here, and it burned down, and they built this, I think, almost kind of like Spanish looking building. There are apartments now, as you can see, overlooking the sea, but there's lots of restaurants at the back on the bottom of this. So you've got Las Guanas, something else, Vista Lounge, Costa Coffee, yeah, it's all going on there. So quite a busy little spot. And fish and chips, of course, ubiquitous. Ice creams you'll find everywhere. We're going to take a little walk now along the promenade overlooking the sea, which is absolutely beautiful. Now, Torquay is part of Torbay. Torbay consists of Torquay, Cockington, which is just over in front of us as we look. And if you go a bit further around the harbour, you'll come to a place called Brixham, which is a traditional old-fashioned fishing village. We won't be doing any fishing today, but what I will promise you is later in the series we're going to go to Brixham because they've got a pirate festival on over there. So have a look across the harbour, but I want to show you something that's to the left of us now, to what is called Rock Walk. And you can see a path all the way up there. Oh, by the way, just let me point out as we walk past here, palm trees. Torquay's famous for its palm trees, and there's plenty of them here today, as once again we get inflicted by the wind. But yeah, you'll see a lot of these palm trees dotted everywhere. But where I want to show you in a minute is this place up here, which is called Rock Walk. Used to have a lot of trees covering that area, but I think it was deemed as a bit dangerous or something. They were going to fall down, so they took the trees down, apart from a couple, and put a walk up there. But it does now give you a fantastic view across the bay. So as we come down along the promenade here, we're now going to take a walk up Rock Walk, and I'll show you the view at the top, and I think you'll find it pretty special. So we've made it now to the top where the viewing platform is of Rock Walk, and as you can see, as we look around us, you get a pretty spectacular view of Torbay. We look across one of the harbours here on the seafront, and then down towards the main harbour and towards the town centre area. What the girls didn't tell me in the shop, whilst they were kind enough to cut the price tag off my new designer sunglasses, they still left the little label on the front of the glasses. You didn't tell me that either, did you? Anyway, I did discover it before it was too late. So let me show you what we can see across here. In the far distance, you can see the Grand Hotel, probably one of the oldest hotels in Torquay. That's right next to the train station, was in the background. There's a cricket club there, and then you can see what is called Abbey Gardens. It goes down to the Riviera Centre, which is kind of where the recreational stuff to do. If you want to play tennis or go to the gym or even watch concerts, that's where you can go there. Along the seafront there, tide's in a little bit at the moment, but when that comes out you'll see a little bit more beach. We've got lots of little beaches dotted around Torquay. This is known as the English Riviera. I think partly, as you'll see when we get down to the main harbour, it's got a slightly French feel to it. I know other seaside resorts claim to be the Riviera, but this is the actual real one. But rather than having one very long stretch of beach like you would in Bournemouth, for example, you'll find lots of little beaches and coves and little places for you to go down to. And if you're clever enough, you can find somewhere quite secluded some days. You've got to kind of know where you're going, I think. But it's really quite spectacular. Right below us is the Princess Theatre. They had Fleetwood Mac there recently. I believe anyone of a certain age will probably remember who Fleetwood Mac is. And I think Jason Donovan turned up there once as well. Not going to get to see any of them today, sadly enough, but we are going to go back down there now and take a closer look down on the harbour. See you later in the show. Oh, and by the way, subscribe please.
So here's a nice big one, if you fancy a big one, a big ice cream. And we're outside now the Princess Theatre, and a few people now starting to queue up to get their ice creams, which is what you have to do, I guess, if you come to the seaside. Ice cream, stick a rock, that sort of thing. You might fancy catching a boat to Brixham. You can book one here. We'll be going on that later in the year. Let me just show you along here. There's a place where you can go fishing. So we've got a pier that jets out into the sea. It is looking very nice. And we're just now right at the beginning of what is the tourist season here in Torquay. This is the start of the Easter break for the school holidays for the kids. Not quite Easter itself, but it will just start getting busier and busier now as we look across probably the largest harbour here in Torquay. Not so long ago, one of these kind of super yacht type things that you see across here caught on fire, and it was so bad on fire it actually ended up sinking. It was just completely written off. Who knows what the cause of that is, but you'll see some pretty nice decent looking boats parked around here, and I guess this is what gives it that English Riviera kind of flavour, really. Torquay isn't necessarily the richest place on the planet, but as you can see, there are people with a few quid somewhere down here. My boat is in there somewhere, is it? In my dreams, maybe not. Anyway, carrying along the promenade here today, just want to show you, this is there's the old pavilion, which you can see just in the background there. They're not quite sure what they want to do with it. There's been lots of questions over its future. I mean, it's a fantastic looking building and they should do something really nice with it. There's been talk of perhaps turning it into a casino, maybe. Others want to turn it to some maybe glorified shopping mall, or there's even been talk of things like ice rinks and all sorts of stuff going in there. But it's amazing. Looks a bit like the pavilions at in Brighton. It's got that kind of feel to it. Anyway, I wanted to show you a fountain, and for no particular reason other than the fact, if you've ever watched an episode of Friends, you notice I can't get too close because they'll probably steal my GoPro off me because there are children there. But have you ever seen the opening episodes of Friends? I always think this fountain looks a bit like that, and some of the tulips are starting to come out now. Anyway, we'll leave that there for the moment. If you go up that direction where I'm looking now, that will take you into the town centre. But like I say, it's such a beautiful day today. I think we'll just stick to basically the seafront. We'll come back to Torquay on another visit one day, I'm sure we will. But as it's so nice, let's stick with the scenic views here on the seafront. So we're going to take a little wander now down to what is the smaller harbour here in Torquay, and then we'll have a look on the other side of that as well. And there's a couple of interesting pubs I want to show you, so I'll see you later in the show. So as promised, we're now in the slightly smaller harbour here at Torquay. Nonetheless, quite quaint, quite pretty, and once again has that je ne sais quoi of a Riviera location. So it's pretty cool, I think you'll find. The three towers you see in the background there, I think they were called the Three Sisters, and they've been there, I think, probably since the 70s or something like that. Anyway, we'll get to the other side of the harbour shortly. Where I want to take you to now is a place where people are crabbing down here. Have you caught any crabs?
Yeah.
How many?
3. We just took the rest in there.
Can I show that on the camera? Oh, look at that. Fantastic. How long do they take to catch one?
About 10 minutes.
Oh, it's pretty quick then.
Yeah.
Oh, they're amazing.
Oh, show me.
Yeah, you have.
For fuck's sake.
Hey.
Are you a YouTuber?
Yeah.
What's your YouTube channel?
Day Trip It Does. Look out for me.
I've
Be
been
brilliant.
shit on,
Give me a like.
Yeah, I will.
Love ya. Catch ya.
Good luck.
Yeah. So we're down here on the harbour. Oh, by the way, thank you for those who have watched my first, I mean, this is now only my 4th ever
day trip, and so thank you for everyone who's managed to have a look at my videos so far, especially those who've pressed the like button, and even better if you subscribe. I'd be really pleased with that. Anyway, I brought you down to a place called Vaughan's Parade, and as you can see, people here are crabbing. Very nice too. They've got special dedicated crab buckets. Very good. This is quite a nice little spot, especially when the sun's shining, because you can get there's a couple of nice bars down the bottom here. You can get ice cream and fudge, which is really good. There's a travel information shop here if you want to find out a bit more what's happening in the bay. And this is something you'll start to see now in the summer, which is well, it's called the Dress Crab, Shellfish and Oyster Bar.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
What's that?
They're probably just opened now for the summer season, which begins about now. We're in April now, so it's just about the start time. We'll start getting a lot busier around here as we do. Once again, I'll show you up to the town centre, which is in that direction. May have a look up there one day, but they're shops, you know, you've seen them before, haven't you? We come along now the southern side of the promenade. They've just recently redecorated, is that the word? Rejuvenated, revived. Anyway, they've done this place up, whatever the word is. So it's a little bit more open. To be honest, having seen what it used to look like, it's not hugely different. They've just taken away some of these sort of raised flower beds, but still nice to see them putting a bit of effort into keeping this place nice and tidy. Now we'll have another look up, or we'll have a look up the other side of this harbour shortly, but there's a couple of things I want to bring to your attention now which you won't see from that side of the harbour. So first of all, you can see this building here, which is called the Clock Tower. I don't know what that wooden box in front of it is. I'm sure that's not an architectural masterpiece. Something's going on there. Maybe Houdini's working his magic in there. Let's just get past a few people. Here we go. Trod over the newly renovated seashells by the looks of it. Very nice. Yeah, no, this clock tower, I don't know if it gives us some history on it, but I heard a rumour that the same person has been winding up the clock for the last 58 years. Now, I don't know if that's true or he's just winding me up, but that's either a very dedicated person or someone who didn't have much ambition. Either way, so there's a testimony to somewhere. When was this laid? 1902, so it does go back a few years. Oh, this one goes back to 1886. And I think you can go inside this clock tower if you wish, but I've never seen anyone actually do it, so I wouldn't know how you get in there. There is a door. That's probably the answer, isn't it? Try a door. That'll be quite good. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you that bit. We're going to cross the road now. We will take a look up to the rest of the harbour here shortly. Let's just cross the road before we get run over. You wouldn't expect in Torquay to find a military museum, but there is one. It's open 7 days a week. You can do that if you like. Got to have fish and chips here, haven't you? I mean, what's the point coming to the seaside without fish and chips? So that's good, and you can get your nails done at the same time. Just point out to you this place. This is called Park Lane, so if you're coming down here at night, you might want to go clubbing, and Park Lane is one of the bars that you would come to. There's a couple of clubs right here in the heart of Torquay, but let me show you this pub over here. This is called the Apple and Parrot. Exactly. Name that tune. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, this is the Apple and Parrot, and it was named because the pub itself used to have a parrot in there, which I think probably lived to a ripe old age, but sadly it passed away and is no more. But if you just walk up this little alleyway to which is in front of the Apple and Parrot, you'll come across
conveniently with a nice lorry van parked in front of it, a pub called the Devon Arms. Now, I found an old picture of this, I'll put that up on the screen. That's been here a few years, since 1790. This is up in Park Lane, by the way, if you're looking for it, if you come to Torquay on your day trip. And I'll show you the pub next door to it, which is even older. In fact, this pub here, which is called the Hole in the Wall, was for hundreds of years a smugglers, pirates, seafarers, highwaymen and locals drinking hole. And not just trying to see where it goes back to. I've just seen a sign. It goes back to.
Should be.
Goes back to.
Here before, it's a cracking little pub.
It's cracking.
Yeah.
It's good in here. Cash only.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, this place goes back to 1540, and it's also now been attached to a restaurant. There used to be a restaurant separately there called Maggie's, yeah, no, it's lovely inside there. Again, we're a little bit unsure about the future of this particular pub, because I think the current owners are wishing to move on, so good luck with that. But I do hope it finds new landlord or lady to keep the tradition going on that particular pub. So I think it's time now to stroll back into town, and we'll take a little walk up the other side of the harbour, and then we're going to cross a quaint little bridge. So if you thought having a military museum in Torquay was a bit odd, how about this one? Torquay's Dinosaur World. Fun, interactive, indoor exhibition of dinosaurs and fossils. And there's a couple of friendly faces here. Do you know, one of the things I've learned since I started filming midday trips is that so many places do not like you to film inside them. I see why they're doing it. Obviously they're protecting particularly children and things like that from being filmed, but it does kind of limit what you can show. There's a place here in Torquay called Kent's Cavern. I think it's a must, and I have been in there, and it really is quite a place to visit. It goes back thousands of years to early mankind. And I wonder if they've got a sign here for Darren. I wonder if they've got it, or a Dazza. I'm not seeing much here. Maybe they could do them alphabetic. Got an Aaron. If I had to stick my own D on it, I suppose that would probably be alright, wouldn't it? Well, I'm not seeing a Darren. Well, they're not going to get any money off me, are they? If they can't be bothered to stick a Darren on that one there. Oh, it's a Louis. A friend of mine's son's called Louis. Could get that one, I suppose. No, nothing there. Absolutely nout. Complete rubbish. I'm not going to be buying one of those things there. Usual stuff here, by the way. Lots of holiday stuff. I could have got some more sunglasses. I'll just stick with the ones I've got at the moment. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I was mentioning Kent Caverns as we pass some of the bars and bistros and things that are here on the seafront. Kent Cavern, it goes back to, I don't know, cavemen, I think. People have been using the caves for probably thousands of years. It's here in Torquay. It really is worth a visit. But sadly, they won't allow me in there to film. So I can do nothing about that. I could smuggle me camera in there, I guess. But that would be a bit unfair, I think. So there we go. So we're on the other side of the harbour right now, as we pass more fish and chip shops, and I can see another one of those giant ice creams, which you've got to have, haven't you? I mean, it'd be rude not to. Yeah, looks pretty cool. Let's have a look across the road here. So we've got some more. I think these are the slightly smaller boats to get in here, and the way they get in here is through that bridge over there, which is a pedestrian footbridge. But yeah, actually I'd say I'm being a bit unfair on this harbour here, because actually it's a pretty decent sized one actually, but it kind of more or less stretches into that very first one we saw, so I guess that's probably the reason why I don't think of it as a separate harbour. But again, there's a few decent boats out there, and just coming in here you can see there's a ferry over there which takes you to a place called Dartmouth. Now that's a place we're going to go to later in the year. I should say later in the show really, because Dartmouth has a famous naval college, so you've probably heard of it. I think there's one in America called Dartmouth, but this is the British one, probably the first, I've no doubt. But it also has a royal regatta every year,
every 12 months, and I think that would be a great place to go down and do some filming, and a great place for a day trip, and there's lots of other things to be seen as we get down there. Anyway, we're coming up to that little drawbridge that I promised you. Now this isn't that old, probably it's only been here for something like 15 years. Got a quite sort of I don't know, what do you call it, modern look. Oops, that was me, it's okay, just broke my ankle, never mind. Yeah, this looks like one of those sort of modern space age looking bridges. Well, I think it's pretty cool, and this gives you another nice view of that inner harbour that we've just had a walk around. Okay, well, as we come across the bridge, I'm now going to take you right the way over there to the other side. Remember I showed you the Grand Hotel earlier on by the railway station? We're going to head in that direction because I want to take you to a place which is probably the oldest building in Torquay, certainly nowadays, certainly of its type, in Torquay, at Torbay. But what I can tell you is that this is Torquay's most historic building. I think it was built in, there you go, this proves I've looked something up here, 1196. And I think it was owned by the local gentry. Nowadays it's just owned by the local council. And what it does nowadays, I believe, is it houses a big collection of art and sculptures and various other things here. They've got a place here called the 800-year Art Museum, which I think, as the name suggests, they've got art here going back some 800 years. This isn't being used anymore. This used to be a pitch and putt golf course. Shame, really. Quite handy that on a Sunday morning after you've had a few sherbets the night before. Good way to work it off. Better picture there of the Riviera Centre. So yeah, so this nowadays houses lots of art. Right next to it, though, is a building called the Spanish Barn. Now that was built, I think, not far after Torbay was actually built, and it was built for a specific reason, because the people who lived in this house were raising lots and lots of money and collecting lots of things like gold and stuff like that. They needed somewhere to store all their stuff, so they built this place. I'm not too sure if this place is open just yet. It tends to be open. Is it open at the moment? Doesn't look like it. Well, let's get a little bit closer. There's some fantastic grounds around here, but yeah, this would have been like the storeroom to collect all the, keep all the monies and all the wealthy things like you do. So yeah, I knew there was a plaque here, so I'll read you that. You probably can't see it, but I'll tell you. So it says here, the Spanish Barn, built by the monks of Torbay, which is that building there. And this housed 397 prisoners in the war from the Spanish Armada. They were held here in July 1688. So that's the reason why this is called the Spanish Barn. And there it is. Unfortunately, it's a closed Spanish barn today, but still worth having a look at and worth knowing. And there's Torbay once again. Anyway, that's it from the seafront. So what we're going to do, we're going to venture a little bit further inland, but it's within walking distance if you'd like to go there. So as we leave Torbay, we're going to go to a little village, literally walking distance. You don't really need, you can get a taxi there I suppose, but you can't walk it. And we're going to a little village called Cockington, which I think you're going to find really interesting. And if you do find it interesting, please subscribe and press the old like button, and I'll see you in a very ancient village. And so here we are as we look at this beautiful cottage nestled amongst other fantastic thatched buildings. We are in the village of Cockington, a place I can tell you that was mentioned in the Domesday Book back in 1086, and it was originally called Cockingtona. And apparently it's only ever really been owned by 3 families, the de Cockingtons, I guess that's where the name comes from, the Careys and the Mallocks.
and they've owned the estate here for over 800 years. How do I know all this? Well, when you come to the village, you'll be greeted by this sign here, which tells you a bit about what's going on here. We're going to take a little stroll around. This is kind of the central part of the village, and you'll be greeted with a closed visitor centre if you come here today, which is not particularly helpful, but actually I get the impression that if we just have a walk around these fantastic buildings, you'll get a taste of what's going on here. Quite sure why the visitor centre's closed, but never mind. There's a 19th century wood cutting tools were used here. Oh, that's nice. Very good. Okay, let's carry on here. There is a visitor's map which tells you some of the things you can see here. There's a mill. There are the craft cottages to go and see, or there's a weaver's cottage tea shoppy. Oh, there's a pub here, the Drum Inn. We'll walk up to that in a minute. I think there's some craft buildings around there as well. So let's carry on having a look around here and see what we can find. It is a lovely day to visit Cockington. Ice creams. Everyone has to have an ice cream, don't they? It's quite important. Very nice too. So I mentioned to you just now there is a pub here, and this is it. And look at this for a beer garden. Hey, if you want a pint of beer, this is the place to come and have a pint, I would have thought. Very nice too. It's called the Drum Inn, and that's really fantastic, isn't it? Now I do know that as well as walking around this beautiful village here, they've got some fantastic country walks which you can go and explore. There's a lot of people heading in that direction, some taking their dogs. Very nice too. I was going to bring my cat, but I don't think he's really going to be too up for that. So that's the Drum Inn. We're going to have a look back further in the village now. So if you come to the schoolhouse tea rooms, as you can see, you can get lunches, cream teas, as I said. It's licensed as well, so you probably can have an alcoholic beverage if you get to this bit here. If you take a look at this view, I've managed to find an old picture of Cockington. I don't think it's quite 1086, but you can see there's not an awful lot has changed here. The only real difference is you'll see the old car that goes past here, but other than that there's not an awful lot of change around these parts. We're going to go and have a look now at a souvenir shop. As always, you'll find one of those whenever you come to a little village like this, or anything that's touristy these days. And from the looks of it, they sell some brasses, and I'm going to guess these brasses are meant for horses, maybe something like that. But maybe you might want a something to remind yourself of when you've visited Cockington in the past.
This is really cute.
Very nice. People here coming to get their little souvenirs, various bits and pieces. So I thought I'd bring you into one of those country walks I told you about as we just came past the Drum Inn just now. Now this one's quite nice because it gives you a pretty extensive view of the type of walk that you can make. It's got a pretty fantastic open space at the front of this, as well as a little pavilion, and by the looks of it, though they're not doing it today, there's a little cricket ground down in the gardens here, and people are having their picnics and things like that. And we're coming up to a building now. I don't know what it is at the moment, because when I've been through this village in the past I've tended to just go through it, but this bit is the bit you have to get out of the car and have a look at what's occurring. And as we look at what's occurring, I didn't realise it was quite such a nice space as this, so that looks fantastic. It'd be nice to come and watch a game of cricket down here in the summer. That should be happening anytime soon. So we're going to have a look at this. It's my guess, but I don't know for certain, that this is probably some sort of craft shop, but I don't rightly know. So we come up once again to one of those signboards, and this tells us that this is Cockington Court.
It's a centre of creativity, and if you want you can look at their website there, which is good here. So it's got the Cob Barn, the Sea Change Craft Studios, the Stable Yards Craft Studios, the Manor House, which I think is what we're at, and Cockington Church, which is that building there. So it looks like there's a gallery in here, the kitchen gallery. So as we come past this little brook reflecting the sunlight on this sunny day, and we start heading back into the main village itself, how would I sum up Cockington? Well, if you're here on a stag weekend, this is probably not the place for you, but as you can see, if you're a young family or you're into history, or you just want to throw this into the mix of your day trip to Torquay, then I do think you need to pop down here, because it's quite a place worth seeing. And the thing is, it doesn't take long to get here from the sort of seafront and main part of Torquay, so that would be my recommendation. You probably won't spend much more than about an hour down here. Right, this is one of those sort of how do you work this gate type things here. Oh, hang on, have I got it? Oh yeah, there you go. You can see why I didn't do well at school. I'll leave that slightly open for the following people to come through there. Yeah, so, you know, just put it in the mix. You know what? You've got nothing to lose. Come down here, the sun's shining especially. And if you want a pint, and I'm told they do really good food here at the Drum Inn, so that's fantastic. So we're just going to enter now back into the village itself, and then that will be our day here at Cockington. So here we are, back where we all started in Cockington village, at the entrance to the main central bit, and also the end of this particular day trip of Daz. Hope you've enjoyed it. We've very much focused on the outdoor life here in Torquay, in particular on the seafront, which has been fantastic. But with such nice weather, I think that was the right thing to do. But here's the thing, I do plan to come back to Torquay again, not just because of its convenience from my point of view, and it is, to be honest, but this time I'd like to show you some of the things that happen at night. Like, for example, if you look at Torquay at night, the lighting is pretty amazing along the seafront, and you won't get to see that during these summer days. We might even take you and show you some of the nightlife, but there's a few attractions around here which we haven't got to show you on this particular episode, but we can do that. So that'll be something to look forward, I hope, on the next episode. So if you've enjoyed this, and I hope it has inspired you to come down to Torbay, the English Riviera, do pop along and do enjoy the sights of Torbay. So from this particular episode of Day Tripadaz here in Cockington, as we come to an end, if you've liked it, please put a like on, please press the subscribe button. I've got an idea of what to do on the next episode, but for now, from Cockington in Torquay, it's goodbye.